What's up guys, if you're new here, I'm Mauricio and I post videos about filmmaking, photography tutorials, and make sure you hit that like button down there. So in today's, hold up. Hey, what up? Hey, what's up? Hey, can I ask you something? Sure, come on in. So, what's up? Yeah, I was scrolling through your Instagram and I'm loving your photos. Thanks, appreciate it. Can you teach me how to shoot better photos? Yeah, sure, why not? Okay, great. Let's see, where can we start? Oh yeah, I got it. So in today's lesson, I'm going to be teaching you about camera settings. Okay, you must know this, so you have to pay attention. I'm going to teach you about shutter speed, aperture, and ISO. Okay. So first things first, turn on your camera. All right, let's see, turn on camera. Okay, it's on. Switch it to manual. Okay, switching to manual. Why do I have to switch it to manual? Because this will allow you to change your exposure exactly how you want it. Oh, okay, got it. You can't rely on auto exposure. There is a time and place when you want to shoot auto, but for now, we're gonna go with manual. Okay, sounds good. Okay, so on your screen, you're gonna see 3 numbers. The first one is your shutter speed. The second one is your aperture, and the third one is your ISO. Okay, I see it. Let's start with shutter speed. Shutter speed is how fast your shutter opens and closes. So if you're shooting sports, you're gonna have to raise your shutter speed at 1/1000 of a second. You want to freeze your action, right? So you want your image to be tack sharp. And a low shutter speed will give you that motion blur. Have you seen those night photos where the car headlights make this trail? Oh yeah, I've seen a couple of those. Well, they did it by having a low shutter speed. Oh, really? Interesting. Also, the lower the shutter speed, the more light you get. The higher the shutter speed, the less light you get. Let's do an example. Raise your shutter speed at 1/1000 of a second. Adjust your exposure by setting your ISO, which is the third number, and then wave your hand back and forth and take a photo. 1000 and then ISO. Okay, let's see. Oh yeah, that's true. As you can see, everything is sharp. There is no motion blur at all. Now bring your shutter speed down to around 30 to 40 and then adjust. Make sure you adjust your exposure because it's gonna get super bright. 30 and then ISO. Now do the same thing. Wave your hand back and forth and take a photo. Okay, let's try it. As you can see, there is more motion blur. Right, wow, that's cool. Yeah, the lower the shutter speed, the more motion blur you will get. You could bring down your shutter speed as low as 30 seconds. What? Really? You can get super creative by just lowering your shutter speed. I recommend Googling photos with low shutter speed to see what other photographers have done and just look at their creative work. Yeah, for sure. It looks interesting. I'll check them out for sure. Wait, but what about background blur? How do I get that? That's what we're going to be discussing next, which is aperture. When we're talking about a specific number, it is called f-stop. So if I ask you what your f-stop is, you tell me the number in the middle. So what aperture does, it creates depth in your image, making the background out of focus. The lower the f-stop, the more background blur and light you get in your image. That's why prime lenses are super expensive, because they go as low as the f1.2. And the higher the f-stop, the less blur and light you will get. Let me show you. Put your camera on a tripod and compose your image and take a photo of this water bottle. Okay. Tripod is right here. Then put a timer of 2 seconds. Okay, let's see, low aperture. So make sure your f-stop is as low as it can go and adjust your exposure by your shutter speed. Then you could take your photo. Now bring your f-stop as high as it can go. All right, now high f-stop. Wait, why is it getting darker? Yeah, once your f-stop is as high as it can go, bring down your shutter speed even more. Wait, why can't I do it handheld? You can, because your shutter speed is low and it's gonna cause motion blur. I'm gonna try it. Let's see. Yeah, go for it. You learn better by actually doing it. Let's see, let's take a photo of this. Alright, let's see it. It did come out blurry. Why is that? Yeah, that's why I created to put your camera on a tripod so that way you won't create any motion blur. Oh, okay, I got you. Okay, now put your camera back in the tripod and then take the photo. Notice how the background is in focus? That is the power of Aperture. So that's what Aperture does. Depth of field. Last setting is ISO. What ISO does, it basically adds fake light into your image. Oh, okay. It just makes it brighter. So if you're shooting at night and your settings are perfect but it's looking too dark, this is where ISO comes in handy. But be careful not to raise your ISO too high because it's gonna cause grain and noise in your image, not making your photo look great. Pretty easy, right? Yeah, it's pretty easy. I think I got the hang of it. So yeah, start messing around with these settings, get to know the terms really well, and just have fun and go out and take some photos. You learn a lot more by just going out there and doing it. Yeah, for sure. But I also want you to Google other photographers' work and just see what other photographers have done and just see that like you can get as creative as you can. It's endless. Okay, so I appreciate you teaching me all the basics on the camera settings, and now I'm gonna go take some photos. And yeah, I'm looking forward on improving my photography skills and just take better photos. You know, I've been always interested in taking photos, and now that I got you, someone to teach me, someone professional, and yeah, I'm gonna go take some photos. So see ya. All right, see ya. Alright, that is pretty much it. Those are just some of the basics that every photographer needs to know if you're just starting out. So if you're just starting out, just start messing around with these settings: shutter speed, aperture, ISO, and just go out there and have fun. Start messing around with the shutter speed, bring it down, shoot some long exposure photos, just mess around with the ISO, the aperture with out of focus, depth of field, wide angle, zooming in. Just do everything what you can and just start getting creative with your camera. I'm telling you, you learn more by going out there and doing it. That's how I learned more. I mean, yeah, you could watch videos on YouTube and learn the basics and the settings and how to do it, but I feel like, in my opinion, you learn more by going out there and shooting. And I'm sure you're probably asking, well, I know how to shoot, sort of. And then you're probably asking, well, I need some tips about editing. Well, I created a couple of presets for you guys. I'll put the link down below, and it's only 10 bucks. It will give you a good start on editing if you're using Lightroom. So I'll put the link down there. They're only 10 bucks, and these presets are good for low light photography. So make sure you click the link down there. So that is pretty much it. If you learned something out of this video, make sure you like, subscribe, and I'm out.